Hi guys, so you might notice very quickly that I have lots of gaps in my shelves today, and that's because we are going to be comparing different editions of the Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson, and then you all get to vote on which editions you think are the best. I did a similar video last week, and you all got to vote on whether you liked the UK or the US version of certain books more, and if you guys don't care about this part, I'll go ahead and put up on the screen where you can just go to the Mistborn portion of this video, but the results from last week, I'll go ahead and post them right over here. Basically, all of you liked the UK versions better. Something I found really entertaining about that video is that I mentioned in it that I thought perhaps it was just a the grass is greener on the other side sort of situation, and that I like those covers more because that's not what I get in my bookstores. But a lot of you who live in the UK were like, no, our covers are way better. Obviously not everybody thinks that. There were some people that still really liked the American covers more. And there was one particular person who said the American covers were clearly done by the best artists and the UK covers looked like a 3-year-old had put a picture on a napkin. And I'm just like, what 3-year-olds do you know? Anyway, jumping into the Mistborn editions. So there are going to be 5 different ones that we look at, and I happen to own 4 of the 5. So I will show you what they look like in person, so to speak, but also I'll put the images up on the screen because I know sometimes with lighting and everything, it's just easier to see the details if you have a crisp, clean image instead of me being like, look, isn't this pretty? There are, of course, more than just these 5, and some of them are gorgeous, but YouTube will only let you put up to 5 in a video at a time, hence why I'm keeping to 5, but the particular ones that I'm going to be doing are the ones that I call old school, the modern American, the UK, the Polish, and the 10th anniversary. I'm gonna start with the covers that I personally think are the worst, but that would be the modern Americans. And okay, so there's several different modern American covers out right now. There's the ones that have been out for a while, so I suppose they're not as modern anymore. And the first one's actually pretty cool. It's got Vin looking awesome, and I don't mind that one. I like the details of the blue lines. I like that she's looking ominous and everything. They got her looking like how she actually is described, which is sometimes not what people look like on the covers. But I tend to just not really like people on the covers of my books, and so I don't love that first one, but I think it's pretty cool. And then the second one, I don't love the second one of these, and then the third one is just a big no for me. I just think it looks kind of cheesy. I don't own these ones, otherwise I would show you in person what they look like, but these are the only ones I don't own, are these modern American ones. But even though I said I'm only going to stick to 5, in a way you could say I'm actually doing 7 because I'm going to talk about the other modern Americans, and you can, if you love any of these, you can vote for these instead. You don't have to think of one over the other, just all-encompassing. If you like even just one of these or all of these, you can think of them as one category. And the next ones within the modern Americans are the ones that are sold in the young adult section. So the first 2, awesome. I think these look really cool. I think that they're very Mistborn-like. They have Vin. She still looks like she's described, but if I'm gonna have a person on the cover, I usually want it to be a little more artistic. I don't want it to really look real, which is how I feel the other ones look. But these I think look pretty cool. I especially like the one with her kind of in the mist. That one is awesome. But the third one, I don't know what happened because I actually would own these editions if not for the third one. The third one, the Hero of Ages, she looks like she's 12, and I don't want to give spoilers away, but she's a grown-up. She's a grown-up by that book. I don't know, maybe some of you really love it. I don't like the cover. I'm obviously spazzing out over something very unimportant. Getting into the really modern ones, these ones are basically brand new, and they're pretty cool. They all look kind of similar, and they definitely, for me, have a hint more of a science fiction feel than fantasy, which is fine. I like simple covers, but for me, I think these ones are just a little too simple. Getting into the ones that I own, we now have the 10th anniversary ones, and these ones I think, first off, the images are printed right onto the hardbacks, which I always think is so cool, and they definitely feel like the kinds of covers that are a combination of the fonts as well as the images. I would say this first one, especially the Final Empire, it's the imagery on it and the font and everything, I just think looks absolutely gorgeous with the gold detail. And the last one, I think the last one might be my least favorite, but I still really like it. I think it's very kind of almost creepy. And given the, without giving away spoilers, given the state of things in the third one, I think it just feels dark. If you haven't seen them next to a person, this is what the first one looks like. I mentioned the gold detail and you can really see it here because of the way the light hits it, and the font, like I said, love that font. On the second one, the details are a little harder to see with the camera, but you can see Luthadel in the background, and they've got Vin's mistcloak with the gold detail, and I just think she looks super awesome there. This third one is the one I said is my personal least favorite of the three, but still very pretty. I think the reason why it's my least favorite of the three is because it, I think, is very focused on Vin, and I liked that the other two kind of had Luthadel or just the world of Mistborn kind of on display, and this one's just all her. And I don't mind that, it's just not my favorite, or I should say I would like it to have been maybe a little more consistent, but I suppose that could have been boring to some other people. Either way, stunning. I absolutely love these. I do think for some people though, they're actually pretty short, and if you have never seen them again in person, that might be helpful to know if you are trying to figure out which edition you personally want. Next up we have what might be my personal favorite editions, but I can't read them, and that would be the Polish editions. I absolutely love the colors on these. I love the hybrid of them being kind of really dark and gritty looking, but kind of still colorful. They just kind of have a draw you in look to them. They're so stunning and very like alluring, kind of mysterious. I think they're awesome. Also, here's what they look like in person. Each one of them has a little ribbon that you can mark your page with, which is I think a great actual kind of tangible detail about them. And then the imagery printed right on the hardback again, which is awesome. I love that the artwork extends from the front kind of to the spine and the back. Man, all of it, so good. I wish these were the American editions. They're so pretty. I know I'm really nerding out here, but also just the detail in her mist cloak, the rips and everything, just the laces on her clothes. The artist did a fantastic job, but I can't really say who's on the covers of the next two in the event that somebody's watching this who hasn't read all the series. I don't want to give away who lives or dies. I mean, Vin's on like every edition of every cover, so I can't really avoid that spoiler, but I don't want to say who's on the cover of the next one. But if you've read the book, you know who this is. And again, the character looks like how they're described down to what they're wearing. It's really great. And then this particular character having the detail of the beard, I don't know, again, man, this artist, they knew their stuff or somebody told them, because they included some really important details. And I wish there's a way that you could see these in person, because they look even more stunning in person than you would think. Like I said, the colors just, they really are, they draw you in. Okay, you guys get it. I like these covers. Moving on to the UK covers. The first one, The Final Empire, has a similar feel, I think, to the 10th anniversary ones, having Luthadel kind of be the focus. I love the colors. I love the white with it's basically the kinds of covers I always like. White with a pop of color and a sketched look, which is always what I'm going for. The next two, they do have a character on the cover, but again, not a real person, and the sketched look I think is just absolutely just gorgeous. If you are somebody who is looking to purchase Mistborn and you're kind of trying to consider which cover you like the most, as far as I know, these don't come in hardbacks. I believe you can get them taller, but I don't think I've ever seen a hardback version of these, although if you're somebody in the UK and I'm wrong, please correct me. And also I'd like to add that a lot of people, they don't love that these aren't particularly floppy, and these books are pretty dense, so the chances of breaking your spine are pretty high, but they do, they're white, so it's kind of hard to see the broken spine. Not saying it's impossible to read these without breaking the spine, just there's a chance, but here is what they look like again in person. And I think they're all really pretty. This is gonna sound kind of lame, But these always look so gorgeous on the shelf next to all the other UK editions because they all go together. So I think that in particular, that element of them makes them very appealing to me personally, because some of us who care about things that aren't unimportant like the way the aesthetic is of all of them matching. Lastly, we have the ones that I call the old school covers. I heard a rumor somewhere that Sanderson actually didn't like these covers. I don't know how true that is. If any of you have a link of proof of that, I'd be very interested in knowing for sure. But I have always found these covers to feel very, it sounds stupid, but very old school. They feel like old classic fantasy. The detail in the artwork is really, really cool. And the color scheme is very different. I just don't really find I see too many other covers like this. To me, they also kind of look like paintings. It's like somebody painted images from Mistborn and then they were turned into the covers. So I think that's really, really cool. I'll go ahead and show you guys the physical copies. I have them kind of out of order here, and also sorry for the tabs because I know that kind of changes how they look. But this is the Hero of Ages. Again, that painted look. Very cool. I like the red lettering. I don't feel I normally would like these kinds of covers. If you described it to me, I would probably think, oh no, I don't know if I would want that cover. But something about the way the artist tied all of these different colors together, different details together that I wouldn't have thought I'd like, I think they look really cool. Of the three, I think that the first one might actually be my least favorite, and that's just because of this face right here. I think the detail's great, the drawing, the art itself is really fantastic, but it's a very like prominent face right there in the corner, but I love the imagery here. And then on this one, the colors, again, the color combination is just it's not particularly vibrant, it's very subdued, but it's creepy. I mean, that's pretty creepy imagery. I like it. Now that you've seen all these, you can vote for which one is your favorite. And if you didn't have the thing pop down for you, if you hover on the screen, you should see a little eye. That's where you can vote. I will post the results on my Instagram and my Twitter next week. So you have 1 week to see this video and vote, and then your voting will be in the results. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all later. Bye.